Very good year.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Strathmore Town Council meeting of March 20th, 2013. And there's no public hearing, but any additions or amendments to the agenda or deletions? We have an admission or administration?
Your Worship, there's none in camera tonight, but we have a couple items to add, and that would be 13.3 and 13.4, I believe, for this group. Yes. Okay? So the 5.2 is still needed, and the 13.1.
Thank you. Any further additions, Council?
But there'll be the two items. Just give us a second. So there will be 13.4, an open council yet, and 13. And 13.4.
Should those not be 7 point? Under old, should that not be under?
Yes, we can move them up to 7.1.
Yeah.
7.1? Thank you. Motion for adoption.
So move.
Council Sobel, all in favor? Carried. Adoption of the March 6th, 2013 regular council meeting minutes.
Your Worship, I move the council adopt the February 20th, 2013 regular council meeting minutes as presented.
Thank you. All your motion, all in favor? Carried. Delegations for March, we have 2013 Citizen of the Month.
That's me, Your Worship. Get ready, Alicia.
Councilor Fuel.
Your Worship and fellow councillors, members of the public, it's my honor to present Neil and Sarah Kennedy as the Citizens of the Month for March 2013. When I first called Neil at work and told him of my choice, he said, quite powerfully, no. It took a lot of convincing because the Kennedys preferred to help quietly and stay out of the limelight. But I'm very glad that Neil allowed me to present this very special and giving couple this award because they definitely deserve public recognition. Every group I contacted jumped at the chance to mention the help received from the Kennedys and their Sobeys store. Here are some of the various groups and events supported by Neil and Sarah. They have contributed discounts and cash to the Community Crisis Shelter. As well, they have gone way beyond expectations in their support for Relay for Life, and they feed all the participants throughout the event. The Kennedys and their Sobeys store have been regular supporters of Strathmore Minor Hockey, sponsoring jerseys, and they've also helped greatly with the Bison's hockey team. In addition, when the ATB Alberta Cup tournament for AAA Bantams was announced, Neil was one of the very first to call and offer help. The Kennedys have also been great supporters of the Lions Club and have provided food for the Lions auction, as well as food for the Lions food kiosk at the Ag Society Heritage Days Rodeo. They've also purchased 4-H calves to help the youth of the ranching and farming communities. And in addition, Neil and Sarah have been very supportive financially and with food for the various public and separate schools. Mr. Colin Lennox, Associate Principal at Crowther Memorial Junior High, mentioned that the Kennedys are huge contributors to their school, especially with the annual spaghetti dinner, which I believe you guys just came from. Especially the annual spaghetti dinner, which raises funds for the grade 9 Ontario trip. As a teacher at Strathmore High, I've seen Neil and Sarah's food and beverage support for our Breakfast of Champions Awards breakfast. Twice a year, they provide food for this breakfast, and it gives our school a chance to recognize deserving students. In fact, it amounts to about 80 students a year who receive a certificate and honor. And I believe that's when I first started to meet the Kennedy children, as they've been coming since they were very little to the early breakfast. The Sobies and the Kennedys also work closely with Westmount School to raise funds for this school through the grocery card program. This program has raised approximately $15,000 each year for Westmount. And I apologize if I've missed anyone in this presentation, but because of the very large number of organizations they've helped, it's actually very difficult to mention them all. And lastly, I want to acknowledge the whole family. I know there must be many times when you all are incredibly busy and you have to make sacrifices in time and effort to help the various groups. Neil and Sarah, you've set an amazing example for all of us, and as well your children. Alicia, you've already started your volunteering. You've become a volunteer coach in my JETS program, and you've been very good with the youth. Kyle is a great participant and a very decent young man. I can't wait for you to be old enough to be one of my coaches, Kyle. So in conclusion, I want to thank Neil, Sarah, Kyle, Alicia, and of course, Hannah Kennedy. You and your family, Mr. and Mrs. Kennedy, you and your family have made a huge impact on our town. You always step up to help people in groups so that others can benefit. I am very glad you chose Strathmore to be your home. You are more than deserving of being Citizens of the Month for March. Thank you. And now, if you wouldn't mind all coming forward.
Thank you.
One, Pat, I'd like to mention is that they're big supporters of the Heritage Days and Strathmore Agricultural Society. Big supporters. Thank you, folks.
Thank you. Thanks. 212 audited financial statements, page 11.
There's the motion required, Your Worship.
Okay.
Oh, that would be me, I guess.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we need a motion. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just
Sorry.
behind.
Ready?
Your Worship, I would move that we accept Neil and Sarah Kennedy and the Kennedy family as Citizens of the Month for March 2013.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. And I guess 5.2 is deleted. Sorry about that. Old business 7.1, which is kind of confusing, but we brought that down from what, 13?
13.3.
3?
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, gentlemen. Your Worship, I would move that Council grant an extension to Skyscape Incorporated for payment for the purchase of land until April 30th, 2013.
All heard the motion? Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. 7.2.
Will there be any preamble to this?
No, argue.
It's up to council, I can if you want.
Go ahead.
Yes, little explanation.
Maybe just a little bit of an explanation about this, sir.
Okay, sure. Out on Wildflower Road, there was a portion that was built by Al Bertram up into Wildflower. And then Cancorp came along and they started to develop further north. There was a piece of road in between, and it was exactly 133.11 meters long that needed to be built. And Cancorp built that piece of road at that time so that they could have access further up the road for their subdivision.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Not, we look for a motion.
I would move, Your Worship, the council pay Cancorp for the road improvements made to, I think it's only fair before I make that statement because of the circumstances. I think it's fair to say that it was not Cancor's financial responsibility to build that road.
Yes.
And that is the reason for this matter being at.
Maybe I should go a little further.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So anyway, there's that piece of road, 133.11 meters long. Al Bertram had 2 years in the development agreement to build that piece of road. And he never got it built. And after 4.5 years is when Cancor needed the road so they could have access up there. So we are paying Cancor for building that piece of road.
Right.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
through the chair to Dwight. And of course, this is just big. We're paying them and billing the other.
And billing the company that didn't build.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Good
it's just
point.
exchanging some checks here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now I feel better about saying that. Council pay Cancor for the road improvements made to Wildflower Road according to Schedule F of the development agreement between the town of Strathmore and Cancorp.
You all heard the motion. Any questions? Further questions? If not, all in favor?
Should there be an amount in there, Your Worship?
No.
Not necessary?
Yeah. Carried. 8.1, Heart and Stroke Foundation National Fitness Day, page 13.
Your worship, I would move that council proclaim June 1st, 2013 as National Health and Fitness Day in Strathmore.
Thank you. All heard the motion. All in favor? Carried. 8.2, wastewater treatment plant, blower replacement.
So, Your Worship, we have EPCOR here to discuss it with us.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Craig Bonneville and Victor Meyer of EPCOR are here this evening to discuss the issue we're having at the wastewater treatment plant with blowers for the DNR plant, the wastewater treatment plant. We've been having some issues with the blowers for the last number of months. We've been trying to build these blowers. Some history. When we constructed the new wastewater treatment plant, there was a decision made, thought that potentially the blowers that we had in place should be sustained and maintained through the upgrades to the new DNR plant that we have in place. Unfortunately, that's kind of blown up a little bit for us. Now we're looking at a replacement for the blowers. Craig and Victor are here to discuss the blowers and what's on the table. One of the issues, just to make you aware, in the agenda item, the amount that had been requested was inaccurate. We asked for 54,000. It's actually 66,000, but with a $6,000 credit based on the effort that's been undertaken to this point, trying to refine the for the company that we've been working with. Quote had given us a break on the price based on trying to retrofit the existing blowers, but not be successful. So they acknowledge the effort to try to put your help us out a little bit with not charging us as much.
So what figure goes in there then?
So it should be a total project budget of 60,000.
Yeah, it would be, Your Worship, 66,000, and then we would, after the fact, apply the manufacturer and contractor apply a credit of 6,000, so net 60,000.
Okay, and just want to welcome first off, and Can you tell us what this, just in the Reader's Digest version, what this blower does, sir?
Sure. Really, the aeration blowers in a wastewater plant are really the heart to the plant. If we didn't have them, we may as well not have power to the plant. It's truly that important. When we toured you folks around it in the past, we talked about how this is a biological plant and you rely on bugs to do the treatment for you. Well, the bugs need food, and the air is the food for the bugs to do their job. So really, what the situation where we're in now, there were 3 blowers with the existing plant back in 2001, 260 horse that are referred here and 140 horse. We're down to only 140 horse, which one leaves us with no redundancy. And additionally, it's not large enough to supply the air demand as we get into our higher flow season here with spring and so on. So this project, I should also be clear that the intent is that we would request 1 blower this year and then a 2nd blower next year, so we have complete redundancy of these 2 new blowers. Now, in theory, we could do them both this year, but with the town, we try and spread out the cost over a 2-year period. So at the end of the day, if this were to go through, we would have 2 new high efficiency 60 horse blowers, and then the older 40 horse blower, which in effect acts as a bit of a peaking blower if we were to have really high demands. The other note, just on the cost part, in your package, maybe this wasn't included, but we did do a cost analysis in terms of the life cycle cost of this, because when we were researching different manufacturers' brand of blowers, they also use a fair bit of power at the wastewater plant, so we wanted to consider power costs. The blowers we've selected are a higher capital cost. There were some that were cheaper. However, the operating costs are much less expensive than some of the other choices. So when we looked at the net present value over 10 years, these blowers, while more expensive in year 1 over the life cycle, actually easily the most economical selection.
Go ahead, Councillor Best.
I appreciate the fact that you would like to spread this over 2 years. But the fact of the matter is everyone knows that these blowers don't go down in price. The fact of the matter is that what I'm wondering is if you'll guarantee us this price for next year as well.
No, we can't, because you're absolutely right. The blowers, they could increase the price for whatever reason, whether it's just natural inflation or the market changes or demand or whatever. So absolutely the cost of the blower could be more next year.
Councillor Stubble?
Could also go down too. But my question actually is, how old are these blowers?
12 years.
Okay.
They've been put in for 12 years when the original plant was built.
They're from the original plant.
From the original plant. But we have changed them out. I believe we've had about approximately 8 blowers, new blowers have been put in there in that time.
So they haven't been a reliable blower, and because also of we've gone through, this is our 3rd treatment technology, if you will, in those 12 years, the use has changed over time as well, and these aren't really appropriate blowers for this current use, which may have contributed to why they've recently failed. Been a history of failure, but the frequency of failure is more
increasing.
Process. So
we've replaced these blowers already 8 times.
I would say approximately 8 times.
So
In 12 years.
So the blower that we have there now, that we're replacing here, back to my original question, how old is that one?
2.5 years.
Is there any warranty or guarantee on these things?
They give them a 1-year warranty. And all of the companies will give them a 1-year warranty. No matter what, which company that we priced them with, it's a 1-year warranty.
Did we have any troubles with this blower in the first year?
In the second year we did. In 2000 and, between 2002 and 2003, we replaced one at that time. It was past warranty when,
Between 2002 and,
2003 in.
or
the
2000?
exact date, I don't know, but we replaced one of them
Oh, I see.
at that time. Just the blower.
Yeah, so to also be clear, those were replacements of the blower. This project is to a full unit with the blower and the motor, and the efficiency that we'll get in terms of power usage comes with a new motor.
Oh, so we're talking two different items here.
A little bit, I guess. What Victor was talking about in terms of replacement, that was just the blower.
The parts. You're
Yeah.
replacing
Well,
parts
the
where
unit,
it's,
but still the blower, but the same motor on top to run the thing.
this includes the motor.
Project is the motor and blower together. Again, a new motor combined, this new unit will become a more efficient blower, so better depth values. So
Any idea how long this one's going to last?
well, we hope, I think some things with this new one, it's the right blower for this application.
Okay.
Size appropriately. Like I said, we've gone through 3 different redesigns, if you will, of the wastewater plant, all with different demands and needs for air. So this is the right blower for this application. There's no reason to suspect it shouldn't last 10 years plus to pay off.
Thanks, Craig.
Councillor Fuel?
Well, that was going to be my question. I was going to ask about the lifespan, but tied into that, can you tell us what the warranty would be on this new system or this new blower and motor system?
They, any of the companies will only offer a 1-year warranty on it. We have looked at 5 different manufacturers, and they're all a 1-year warranty. We do have the ones we have chosen, which is the Airzon. We have, excuse me, I believe at least 10 of them in a bank in Strathmore, in their blower room. And talking to the suppliers, actually I talked to him today, and he said all the blowers there are over 15 years old.
That's good, thank you.
So why is he 15 years old there and not here?
Different make, and it's a different, like Craig had said, it's a different, operating differently now from what these were. These blowers are made to run at 100% all the time. With the new technology in this plant, to save money and or to operate properly, your blowers are governed by the amount of dissolved oxygen in your reactors. So these blowers, actually when the new plant was commissioned, we blew 2 of the blowers up because they were set to reduce to 50%. And we checked with the manufacturers, and they had suggested that they should only be turned down to 70%. And now since then, we have blown up 3 of them, which can't be repaired, and they're recommending that this is not the right application for these blowers. So basically, these blowers are not made for what they're being asked to do.
So I'm missing something. The ones in Canmore are lasting 15 years. Can we get those kind?
That's what
we're.
That's what these are.
It's really, the blowers that have failed, it's kind of a square peg in a round hole type thing. They're not the right blowers for the right application. The key is with this type of equipment, the right blower for the right application. The Canmore example shows that when spec properly, and that plant hasn't gone through changes in process. It's a completely different process than Strathmore here, but I'm saying it's when you use the blower like you're supposed to, then they will last, and when you maintain them right. So with the purchase of these 2 blowers, however we decide the timing of it, it's the right blower for the right job, and there's no reason why they can't last as long. The reason also why we mentioned Canmore, it just shows that we have some experience with maintaining and operating these ones, and have, with this type of equipment, you also have to have the support from manufacturers and so on for it. We have that with teams who have experience with this type.
So, I mean, I have no problem since you guys installed the wrong blowers to start with. You got to be paying the bill. I had to throw that in, Jesse.
Only Victor was around then.
Your Worship, could I ask one
Yeah.
more question? The last question I have is if these are blown, can you assure us or tell us what's going on now then? Like what's happening as far as the oxygenation in the plant if the blowers are down now? Do you have a backup system that's running now?
Yeah, there's the one small blower that's mentioned in here. So the two new ones are 60 horse. They'll be our primary blowers. One standby, one in use. There's also a third 40 horse blower that is of the same age, but it's also an Arizin blower. Like I said, it'll be a T-King in the future. Right now, that's the only one we have. Now, we did bring in basically a hot standby, a spare one from Canmore, I think it was, right? Just in case this one failed. So we borrowed one from Canmore on standby just in case.
Councilor Rempel.
Through the chair to Court. You indicated that the present motors on those blowers are running at 100% capacity. Did I understand that correctly?
The blowers are made to run at 100%. Like we haven't had any problem with the motors. It's the blowers themselves that are failing, and they fail because this type of blower doesn't have the proper lubrication and cooling at a lower speed, so the bearings are going out on it.
So are these new ones capable of running at a reduced speed?
Yes.
So they can be governed, or they're not going to be running at 100% all the time.
Correct.
They'll be adjustable, and we're actually able to reuse the existing VFDs or variable frequency drives that turn down the motor speed. We're reusing that electrical equipment with these. So we have been able, and most of the piping and everything is all suitable. So we're swapping out the motor and blower.
So there won't be as much stress on the motor, and therefore it should last longer.
Right. The new blowers have the proper lubrication, and we've gone to the manufacturers and we have given them the amount of airflow that we need for different demands for the plant, whether it be in the middle of the night or high flows, and they have spec'd this blower as the blower that would suit us the best.
Good, thank you.
Councilor Sobel.
Please forgive my directness on this, but is there any reason why it took us 12 years to figure out that we were dealing with two parts that didn't work well together?
Well, again, I think part of it is searching for the root cause of the failure. Okay. Again, we went from one technology to the SPR to the DNR plant, and through that process, even when we review documentation with AECOM and Maple for the DNR plant here, there was still, I guess, hope that these blowers would still be suitable in this application, irrespective of the maintenance history on them. Certainly, that was communicated to the full project team together to see, but
so it wasn't as evident as like,
yeah.
You know, it's evident now, but it wasn't in the past.
In terms of cost, it wasn't $60,000 per
blower
per replacement, right? I think, you know, Victor compiled a bit of a maintenance history, and it was about in those since 2005. I think he went back. It's been about 65,000 total for maintenance and repairs on kind of all three blowers. So again, the capital, again, this is supply and install.
Good, thank you.
For a completely different type.
Thank you.
My only next question is administration. I don't want to put you on the spot, but where's the money coming from? Have we got a contingency fund, or is this in operations, or how does this work?
Chair, this would basically be funded through financial stabilization.
Okay. Thank you. Any further questions?
The only other question I have, Your Worship, is this budgeted for, or are we within our budget on this?
Through the chair to Councillor Bassett, this would be a request for an additional capital project for this year. So we believe the motion is to add a capital project for 2013. And as outlined, we request that the capital project be not the 54,000 that was requested here, but the 66 with the $6,000 credit on that. So there are two motions that we've asked for: an additional capital project, and then that the capital project be awarded to Epcor.
And now are we, the motion, is it a net 60,000 then?
66.
I guess we could do a net 60. That's right. Is Epcor confident with?
Yeah, we're,
$60,000
I think we're
budget?
comfortable enough however you want to do it. It's been, like I said, obviously before, until we get approval, we didn't sign any contracts or anything with the supplier to either purchase the blowers or for the credit, but this is in terms of email, written communication, the credits. We still have to place the order for the blowers and stuff, but I think we're pretty comfortable that the credit supplied is a company we've worked with a lot. So no reason why we would step back.
Councillor Fuel?
I just had one more question through the chair to the administration. I just want to wrap my head around this as far as the 2013 budget. Does this mean that we will, in the spring budget meeting, have to decide where cuts are made to supply the money for this new project?
Your worship will be okay.
Okay, thank you.
Are you sure you want to do it this way? I understand Councillor Best, and I kind of like it putting you guys to the wall here, but I mean, what if it's over? I mean, I'm kind of nervous about that.
Over, sorry, the
Oh.
cost estimate is
Yeah,
accurate.
yeah. I don't want to be too generous here either, but I just want to make sure of something here.
Well, I think the supply of the blower, that was based on a written quote from the manufacturer. It's not a formal one, so when we place the order, we'll get the final price right down to the nickel. The installation cost is an estimate that we put together. We feel that is healthy, if you will, that it should adequately be enough to do the installation of the.
So the 60 includes everything, or no?
Yeah, the 66 includes everything, and then when we apply the credit from the contractor, that's where we get the supply and install.
Councillor Slobo?
Yeah, this is, it's a not to exceed 66. So the thing is, if we go 60 and they don't get full price on the replacement parts, then they're going to be back here looking for more money. So, my suggestion would be we go 66 and let the administration follow this, and it'll end up being a $60,000 project if all goes well.
Are you okay with that, Councillor Best?
If we've been quoted tonight at a net 60, that's where I would like to be.
Well, they're quoted as 66, and they're fairly comfortable with the net 60 because they feel that they're going to get the 6,000 back. But there's no contract on this, so it's, you know how if it's not in writing, it doesn't happen sometimes.
I just don't want to have to come back here for $800 or $500 or some ridiculous silly thing. Councillor Rocky?
Your worship, if everybody's comfortable with this, we can read the motion not to exceed 66,000, and right at the end of that sentence, with the credit coming back at 6,000, that'll get us to the 60.
Everybody happy with that?
Well, then it's part of a motion, and it has to happen.
I don't know if we can put that in the motion.
The intention on the motion this evening is to have a capital budget, so a project budget. Obviously, we'll work with Epcor very closely to ensure that the credit comes back the way that it's been committed to, as you indicated in the documents to this point. We're fairly confident in that. I think, depending on council's comfort level, we can do not to exceed 66 with a commitment that we're going to work on. I don't know that needs to be in a formal wording in a motion, but it is for a budgetary number for the project, and then that the project be awarded to that board to complete. So I don't think there's much risk, so even if we were to do a not to exceed 66, I think we're gonna work on getting that $6,000 credit, and then the end of it will be a $60,000 project. Just we'll have a budget for 60, our budget for 66, but come in at 60.
I have great faith in EPCOR and yourself and administration, so I would be happy with that. Were you making a motion, Councilor Lucky? Or who was?
Well, I can, yeah.
Or I just asked, I thought you started.
No, I was just making a statement there.
Oh, who wants to make a motion?
But I move that 2013 capital project budget be created for the WWTP blower replacement, not to exceed 66,000 is the number we use, with funds to be drawn from the financial stabilization fund.
You all heard the motion? All in favor? Carried. One opposed?
And your worship, I'd move that EPCOR be assigned the project to replace the blowers in the major, and that that the mayor and CAO are authorized to sign the estimated project cost on behalf of the town.
You raised me a status. You all heard the motion? All in favor? Carried.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
8-3, page 25, Tour of Alberta. Tracy, welcome.
8-4.
Thank you, folks.
Isn't it 8-4?
Good evening. I'd just like to have the terms of reference for the Tour of Alberta Committee revised. After attending the symposium in Red Deer a couple of weeks ago, we've decided to increase the size of the committee so that we have a better base of volunteers to plan the event. We'd like to change the membership of the committee to include 2 members of council, 1 chairperson, and 8 directors. And 8 directors will be pulled from residents of Strathmore and the surrounding county and can include paid town staff if needed.
Did any councillors commit themselves to this yet? I don't know.
I'm willing to.
Councilor Hamilton.
And Councillor Hamilton and,
We haven't officially committed anyone to it. That's the next step.
but I volunteered, but didn't Councillor Hamilton and Councillor Field?
Actually, I put my name in.
Did you put your name too? Okay.
I think Hampton was on the 55 plus.
Oh, is he? Did you know,
Wanna go?
did anybody
Yep,
know?
definitely. I'd love to be on it.
Originally, Councilor Hamilton wasn't on the committee, but then when Councilor Fuel and Councilor Sobel couldn't attend the Red Deer Symposium, then Councilor Hamilton attended. So it's kind of,
Does it matter if there's more or?
Calls for 2.
it calls for 2. I think if we had interest from all 3, we could change it to include 3 councilors. The more assistance we have, the better. The committee is going to be very hands-on. We're just looking for councilors who are ready to put some time into helping plan the committee. So if they're all interested in working, I think we can change it to 3.
I would, if he wanted to be, that's fine with me, if that's fine with everybody, and then if he can't, is that okay with council?
Yep.
Okay. So we're looking for a motion for that?
I move that council revise the terms of reference for the 2013 Tour of Alberta Local Organizing Committee.
You all heard the motion? All in favor? You don't need to state names, or? Next, okay. I thought it had to be in that one. 8-4 Tour of Alberta Committee appointments, I see that, thank you.
So in addition to the 3 council appointments, we have some staff and local residents interested in being appointed. There are some changes. Mrs. Terry McKinnon is no longer available to sit on the committee, so I'm requesting that Jennifer Swatsky, Jesse Parker, Jennifer Cuthbertson, and Mr. Scott Carlson, along with the 3 councilors, be appointed to the organizing committee.
So you want to state the names, Councillor Sobel, Councillor?
Councilor Hamilton and Councilor Fuel.
Thank you. You all heard that, council, looking for a motion?
Do you need all the names mentioned? Sorry, do we have to have all the names mentioned as far as the motion goes?
As per the report, maybe?
Okay. Your worship, I would move that council appoint the citizens brought forward by Tracy Simpson? Tracy Simpson for the Tour of Alberta Local Organizing Committee,
And all the three councillors.
including the 3 councillors.
Thank you. You all heard the motion? All in favor? Carried.
Now, is there a deadline that you need to have Councillor Sobel get his training wheels off his bike? Or is,
September 6th.
okay, perfect. You got time, Councillor Sobel.
Ready to go.
Okay, thank you, Councilor. I'm confused here, but we're, okay, there's nothing for administration on 9. No committee reports. Questions between councillors and administration. No consultations. 313,
They're moved to 7.
or moved to 7. 13, and what about
Both.
13.3 and 13.4 have been done?
They were moved to 7.
They weren't, that's right. So,
In that case, your worship, I would move to adjourn.
I'll hear the motion. All in favor? Carried.